Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We're going to wait a few more minutes just for some more folks to trickle in, but we're happy to have you and welcome to Stony Brook. All right, good evening, students, families, and supporters. My name is Lexi Keene. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm one of the summer graduate interns for the Office of New Student and Transition Programs. We're so glad you're joining us for today's session on family services and support at Stony Brook University. And during this session, we will have representation from family services and support. To start off our session, we will hear a little bit from this office, and then from there, we will open the floor for your questions. We also have some PALs or peer assistant leaders here to talk about their experiences from a student perspective. So please feel free to ask some questions as well. This session is being recorded and access to the recording will be available on the same page that you logged into today. Feel free to submit your questions throughout the sessions using the Q&A feature that's down on the bottom panel of your screen, and we will get to answer as many of them as we can. So I will now pass it off to Ellen.
Thanks, Lexi. Hi, everybody. Good evening and welcome to Stony Brook. You're part of the Seawolf family now, and we're really happy to have you. Starting in the fall, I'm believing we're really full on back from COVID. We had a really great spring, which only shows there's going to be more people coming to campus, more in-person classes, and just really a lot of fun. Last fall, when students started coming back to classes, it was, for those of us who were here, it was really sort of a slow start, kind of quiet. Like at first I couldn't really understand what was happening. And then I realized that Stony Brook really is a community. We really rely on each other to be here for each other. And you get used to seeing people moving around campus and in the cafeterias and in the classrooms and stuff. And COVID really quieted things down for a long time. So I think everybody had a slow start in the fall to try to get comfortable again with what it means to be a Seawolf. But by the time you all get here in August, we're going to be full on. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm also, before we get too much into the family stuff, I need to know that we're very proud of the work that all the students did during COVID here at Stony Brook. We did not have any of those pauses you may have heard on the news. Different parts of the country, they'd open up their campus and then they'd have to close it and send everybody home to go remote because of the rising number of COVID positive cases. The students who participated here back on campus, they followed all the rules. You know, they needed to be vaccinated. They need to wear masks and stay 6 feet apart in the beginning of their time here, and they really did a good job. So we would not have been able, the university officials would not have been able to keep the university open if the students hadn't been following the rules the way they did. So, so we honor you because you are part of that community that's coming here. The shoulders of the Seawolves that you stand on have really done a good job to help this be a safe place to come to, a great place to study, and just a place to call your home away from home. Now, I know the family members get a little nervous about that part because it's harder to let go of your students coming to campus sometimes than it is for the students to come to campus. There's two different kinds of excitement. We who are letting them go are proud, but miss, and those who are showing up are excited and can't wait to start their new adventure. So that's how the family services and support area was really born. There's always been slices of every department's pie, so to speak, that has information, services, some sort of support for family members. we wanted to formalize it. When in a minute, when we pop up the webpage on there, the opening welcome on the Family Services and Support webpage is our Vice President of Student Affairs, who says just that we need each other. We need to partner for the success of the students. I always say that you're the experts on the students, the family members, but the university has the experts on the university. So if we work together, it gives the students the best possible opportunity. You may be able to pick up when your student is not feeling well or not having a good time, or they may come to you first with a question about how to get involved or something about campus. And you, with all of your enthusiasm to help them, may not have the details of what that answer would be. That's where we would like to come into the picture. We have folks in the family services and support area who have been here a long time. We have some new people who just graduated, so they are students themselves who are part of our organization. So we would like to kind of pick up where family members left off, kind of passing the torch, if you will. And Stony Brook can then become a home away from home, that here students may feel comfortable to be themselves, and then also still have the support from home. So we have a couple tips for family members as you go through this transition. There's a newsletter that goes out every month. We take the month of July off, but it will start up again in August. And all of you, we already have your email addresses. You will all find on Family Services and Support newsletter in your email box when August comes around, and every month after that. We just want to have the communication as open as possible. The 15-week semesters, I always think, goes really pretty fast. So if something comes up during the semester, the sooner we know about it, we can help you. But also when you see activities coming up from the newsletter, we'd like you to come and join us. Family members are welcome on campus all the time. And you don't even need your students. We have the Stoller Center for the Arts. We have the athletic department that has games all the time. Stony Brook is really a cultural hub here in Suffolk County. So we want you to come and be a part of it, meet other family members. We will have those opportunities for you throughout the year. We will have opportunities for you to meet administrators here on campus, and just really get a better feel about it for your own anxiety, but also because you're part of this family as well. So let's go to the website and I'll give you a little idea of how you can get some answers if they were to come up at some point during your time here. So this is the Family Services and Support webpage. And we always think that there's like two ways that people get answers for questions that families may have. I always like to say that family members of a certain age go to the website first, figure out how to get the answer that they need, and then go on with their lives. Family members of another age, maybe closer to mine, would just like to talk to somebody on the phone. So that's where we come in. We have people on the other side of the website. So if you do still have questions after this visit, you still can't figure out the answer you were trying to find, then certainly we'd like you to call us. We will talk to you. We are available Mondays through Fridays. The business hours are 8:30 in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So we will be there to answer questions if you don't find it here. But let me just tell a little bit about the site. So this is also another incentive to come to the programs, because your faces, your beautiful faces with your students may be right here on the banner on the front page. That will rotate, that will change all the time. I think I'm a big picture taker myself, so I love this part of it. But across the banner on the top, we have the welcome, where you'll find the video from our Vice President of Student Affairs. We have About Us, which you'll get to meet some of the staff, learn a little bit about them. Family Services and Support, we'll cover that in a second. That's what we're going to drop down to. And here it says concern about my student. Now I'm going to talk about that again, because we've put that in two places. Because the truth is, if you have a concern about your student, you're trying to figure out quickly, who do I talk to? So we have a couple spots where you can jump in. Some people are good readers when they're under stress. Some people look for the pictures where they can point and click. So we've given you both of those opportunities. So when we scroll down, you will see boxes that really identify all of the different departments that are in the Division of Student Affairs. And the way Stony Brook University breaks itself up, just like every university, is there's the academic side of the house, we like to say. That's the provostial area. That has all the deans of the academic departments and all the professors and TAs. They're all on that vice president side. The student affairs, the vice president of student affairs, we're part of the outside of the classroom group. So we will have student health under student affairs, the career center, campus residents, family services and support, student services and support, all the things that are really engagement opportunities, clubs and organizations, the marching band, all of the things that are outside the campus to help round out the student experience. That's what student affairs does. So the two of us together, we have to talk back and forth all the time. We in our area, in the Dean of Students area, we absolutely talk to faculty members and departmental deans every single day, because student success needs to be successful in both areas. The great thing about having the structure of being a helper, like myself and my colleagues, being a helper in an academic environment, is we have kind of these built-in warning signals. Like all of the students who come to Stony Brook, we already know you guys are the best and the brightest. It's very competitive to get here. So we know we have that top echelon of students around the country and internationally who have made the cut, and they're here. So we know you're bright. So we know that if you just get into your academic world, you will do well. And everyone typically does. There's a little transition about the studying at a tier 1 research university is different than in your high school where you came from. Even though you were one of the top people in your high school, it's just more work. So, but once you get the hang of it, once you learn how to prepare for the classes that come pretty quickly, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, then you just have to kind of do your thing. What we can find is if all of a sudden your academic performance starts to dip, then the faculty members are alerted there must be something else wrong, because we know you're bright, we know you're doing well in class, you've handed in homeworks, you've done your exams, you've really performed well. If something happens, if all of a sudden there's absenteeism or your grades aren't as good as they were a couple of weeks ago, that's when faculty members are alerted, and we have trained them to be like, ask the student if everything's okay. Or if the student isn't coming to class anymore, let us know, we'll poke around, see if we can find out what's happening. That's where we can jump in sooner than later. And that's one of the reasons that I love the communication that we have back and forth with the faculty. I want that kind of communication with family members also, that if you see that there's something that you pick up that just doesn't seem right, and it can't be that they're wearing red all the time, because we're encouraging them to wear red all the time. That's our spirit color. So if all of a sudden you're like, that's so odd, they never wore red before, and now they're wearing red everywhere. But if it's one of those things, if you know, because you're the family, but if you just find yourself worrying about them, let us know. The same thing the faculty would say, something's different. We would like you to tell us something's different, so that on our end, we can reach out to our partners across campus. If they live on campus, we can reach out to faculty to see what faculty have seen. We just want to make sure that too much time doesn't go by when a student is struggling, because that makes all the difference in the world to get them back on track. But so here's why we have everybody coming to one site, because you may have a question, your student may have a question, together you could go to this site and look it up. So part of what we have here is when it says welcome to the Seawolf family, those are opportunities about new student programs that are happening, orientation. I know you're being bombarded with that already because you're part of the new student programs and transitions. So you're getting a lot of information about that. But let's say you forget when the family weekend's going to be. That's where the family events, that's always updated and changes. Right now it says save the date, October 1st. That's when we're going to have the family weekend. When we build the weekend out, more information will land on that page as well. We have a whole bunch of international students who come. I don't think any of you folks are on the call right now, but international students come. They have very particular questions about visas and travel and things like that. We gave them their own box. So if you're an out-of-state family, if you're an international family, you can get answers there. Or if they're not there, again, you can call us. Graduate students, they're part of our community as well. Their family looks a little bit different. Graduate students, their family members isn't necessarily their mom and their dad and their grandmother. It's their spouse, their partner, their children. So family services helps them with that sort of a family as well. We can definitely connect. Partners call us all the time if they have questions about their graduate student who's a TA and they're looking for meal plan information or whatever it is. We treat family members equally, no matter what kind of family you're coming from, out of state, international, graduate. That's all part of what we do. Now, probably when you take a chance to click through all the boxes and stuff, you will probably spend the most time on safety and preparedness. Not because there's a need to spend the time on it, but that corner of the world, our university police folks have played that out. So there's lots of good information on there. You will really appreciate how much work goes into keeping everybody safe here. We are 1,100 acres and we have an entire police department devoted just to the safety of students, staff, and faculty here. So you see police officers around all the time, and they're actively involved in the community and the clubs and organizations. They do a bunch of classes. They do pink glove boxing. They teach CPR classes. They like to do coffee with the cop. So sometimes students will see them out on the academic mall with their 6-foot tables with coffee pots and donuts, and they're just looking to chit chat with students and share a cup of coffee or a donut with them. So they're trying to flip the stereotype. They're not the only ones eating the donuts. They like to give the donuts as well. So they're really good. And there's a lot of good safety information. We have Siren Systems that we do drills on campus, just like fire drills you did when you were in high school. Well, this is a bigger campus, so the siren may come, and that's a time to recognize that this is just a drill, and you have to look on your phone to find out what you're supposed to do. But they're well trained, and they help to train us in all these different events, because safety is definitely our priority around here. And it was before COVID. COVID increased our safety because now we look at health in a different way, I think. And of course, the safety of the campus and the people on it. So there's a lot of good information on there. And for students who are on the call, there's this really cool app that you can put on your phone that kind of works. And I might be dating myself now, but we used to refer to it as like the blue light app, because there used to be blue lights on different campuses that if you were walking around campus and you didn't feel safe or you saw something was not right, you'd push the button, the blue light would come on top of the pole, and the university police on the other side in the dispatch office would know exactly where that call came from. You don't even have to use any words. They just know that an alert has been called and they go to that site. Well, now they've put things like that on your phone. You can download it from the App Store. They tell all about it, and that's safety and preparedness click there. But you put that on your phone. So if you are concerned, if you do see something suspicious, you don't have to take the time to conversate about what's happening. You push the button, it alerts the dispatch, and they know that there's a student in this spot with the GPS. They can find you, and then they will come to your assistance. Whether you can explain what's happening or not, it's there for you. And it's really great. We always are encouraging students and staff to put that on their phone. So you'll find that out in there. The other thing that you'll find out in there is families can also sign up for the alerts on campus. So if there's a snow day, if the school doesn't open till 11 o'clock, if there was an electric outage, and so part of the campus doesn't have electricity or something like that, we all find out at the same time. Here in my house where I am now, my cell phone goes off, the phone on the wall rings, and then my computer dings with the email that's coming through. So that's always a funny time if I happen to be home and some news comes about snow day the next day. So that's something the families can have in their house, on their cell phone. That's not just for students, faculty, and staff. That's really for the whole community. So please take advantage of that too. When it comes to the next box there where it says, how can students get involved? This is probably one of the things that we in student affairs kind of like lean in, like it's number 2 to being safe, It's find your own space here, follow your heart. We all know, like I said before, we have academic work here. You're going to do well in the academic work as soon as you get your groove on what that means and you connect with your professors and you sit in the front of the classroom. People get better grades if they sit in the front of the classroom. It's research. I can't explain it, but all those things are true. But then how do we make it our own? And we know that this age group, if not our whole life, we make things our own because of the people who we find, who we share that experience with, the friends who you find in your clubs and organizations, the people who you meet in the circus club and you learn how to walk on a tightrope that they put up on the staller steps, or you do a hula hoop better than anybody else, you know, and then you're famous around here. Like the getting involved in clubs and organizations is a really healthy and important part of your experience here. But also getting involved is get a job on campus. We do a good job as professionals, but we can't run the university without students having jobs with us. You know, it's a big place. So we love having students working in our departments. We get to know you in a different way. You get to know us in a different way. It looks great for your experience down the road. And it breaks up the academic stuff. It's nice to have a little money in your pocket, and it works the structure into your work week that really makes you more efficient in kind of a crazy way. Athletes tend to get better grades when they're in season, which seems contradictory to some people until you understand, like, it's very structured. You have to get up, you have to eat, you go to practice, you go to class, you do your homework, you go to bed because you get up the next day and do the same thing. So involvement, whether it's a job or a club or an organization, it really helps you to structure out your life. It's great for while you're here in school, but it's also practice for when you leave school, because life gets kind of busy and we need to know how to organize things. So that's really important. So please, there's going to be lots of opportunities. When you first come to campus, actually, that first week of school, we have these big fairs on Wednesday where all the clubs and organizations come out with their 6-foot tables on the academic mall, and they try to bid for your attention. You know, one guy's got lollipops, the other guy is like handing out stickers, and they're all trying to draw you in so that you can enhance their experience in their club. So that's always a fun part. So that's going to be easy, but it's just giving permission for yourself to be like, I can find the time to do something besides studying. That's the hard part in the beginning, but we'll help you with that. Campus residents, you live on campus, you live off campus. We have peer support for both areas. We have peer support for, they're called the RAs if you live in. They're called the CAs, commuter assistants, if you're coming to campus through your commuting in a car or a train or whatever. Families, we can help you understand all of that stuff and making that transition. So that's going to be part of what we can explain. But those are the kinds of things you might be able to just get your answers off the website here. Now, if we scroll down a little bit more, we're getting closer to that concern about your students. So there it is again. There's the other opportunity. It's the picture that you can click. And now when you see the picture about concern about the student, these are the kinds of things we're concerned about. Students who might be isolating, not feeling very hopeful lately. These are two things that are not typical of this age group. This age group doesn't typically isolate from each other. COVID was weird. It threw everybody off. That's why some of the mental health issues we have now, it's because we took young people and separated them from each other. That's not part of the normal developmental phase that we need to go through. So when students are separating themselves from their friends and starting to isolate, then there must be something else happening. We're always concerned about that. And the other thing is that if students aren't feeling hopeful about the future, if Stony Brook students who have just entered into this opportunity that's going to change their life, change the trajectory of their life and their career, if all of a sudden it doesn't seem that important anymore, something's happening. So those are the kinds of things that family members may pick up earlier than we do. Because I'm trained in this, but I'm in my office on the second floor of the Student Activity Center, but friends and family members are bumping into students all the time. And you might pick up on changes. You might pick up on some like disinterest all of a sudden after all the energy and time, you remember, that went into getting to this point where you can be a Stony Brook Seawolf. Let us know. Talk to your student first about what's happening. You see things are changing, and let us know, because we can help introduce the resources on campus. We have tremendous resources on campus to help students who are struggling in a variety of ways. The academic side has all the tutoring support that you could ever want, and it's all free. And then on the student support side, the student affairs side, we have counseling that is free. My favorite price. It's all actually it's paid for within your tuition fees, but yes, students do not have to take anything out of their pocket to pay for the services that we have. We have an outreach and prevention center. We have a student support team. We have the counseling center. There's so many ways that we can help connect students back to who they are, where they want to be. And sometimes it's as simple as, I want to change my major. I'm not happy now that I'm in this major, but I don't know how to do it. So between understanding that they're not happy with their major and introducing to the academic advisors who could help them make the switch, all of a sudden the world looks brighter again. So if there's ever anything, there's a variety of things that you may pick up on. Talk to your student first and let them know that we have services to support them when they're here on campus. And that's where we can come in. A phone call, an email to us, we'll be able to start to connect the dots for everybody. And while you're thinking of your student of concern, the box here that says sending your love to a Seawolf, that's where our Faculty Student Association has joined and partnered with us. That's the bookstore in there. That's the place where if you want to send something special, you could buy it from the bookstore that's going to be on the other side of that app. Or maybe there's a chance to send a cake one day, or send flowers, or get some sort of a care package together to send. We're trying to build that box up as much as we can, so that no matter where your family is, no matter how far you away from your student or your students away from you, that you'll be able to reach into that sending love box and find a way to get that love to your student right here on campus. And when you can come here in person, then there's a whole box here about visiting Stony Brook. It's about our campus. It's about the community nearby, places to stay, things to do. We're on the eastern end of Long Island. There's lots of water. There's this Long Island Sound. Not too far, there's the Atlantic Ocean. There's wineries. There's historical towns, old fishing villages. It's really a beautiful place to see and a beautiful place to visit. So through the Visiting Stony Brook app, it's not only the things we have on campus, but it's also the things in our community. And then graduation. The Family Services and Support site goes from coming onto campus for your new student programs all the way to commencement and graduation. That site will be filled with dates and parking information and all the things you need to know when that day comes, when you graduate as a Seawolf from Stony Brook and get ready for the next chapter of your life. So that's kind of what all those student affairs boxes are all about. But if you scroll down a little bit more before we open up for questions and stuff, you'll see that on the bottom here, it has our email address, and it also has our phone number. So you can email us at any time at familyservices@stonybrook.edu. That's our email address, familyservices@stonybrook.edu. And then the phone number is 631-632-6700. 631-632-6700. If you are calling us after hours, if it's after 5 o'clock or on the weekend, the phone messages will go right to our emails. So we will see messages that come in through the email system. We don't have to wait till Monday morning to get to the phone to pick it up off the answer machine. We're getting pretty snazzy around here with the technology. So please, if it's not an emergency, leave a voice message and we will find it on our emails. If it is an emergency, we always, every one of these boxes, every office on campus will remind you when you call there. If it's an emergency, we refer back to our police department. And their phone number is an easy one. It's 631-632-3333. Students will have it memorized after the first day they've been on campus. It's posted everywhere. We talk about it all the time. We tell them to put it in their phones. But it's 631-632-3333. That's directly to our dispatch, which is answered 24 hours a day. And the folks can answer questions, even if it's not an emergency, but absolutely they're there for the emergency. So we are a 24/7 operation here with a big, beautiful hospital across the street as well. So it's a pretty cool place for families and for students, of course. So that's the overview of family services and support. Again, use our website as kind of a guideline, but know that there are people like myself and my colleagues on the other end of the phone if you want to call and chat about things in person. And as this summer continues to play out, we will see you if you come to a visit day, because we participate in tabling events and chatting with families when they come for their tours and to meet the pals. But yes, so we're here, we're available, and a little bit more outreach of who we are is the pals as part of this orientation program. The students who your students will meet and who family members will meet, they really are the experts on the campus. That's why they've gone. They can tell you about the interview process, what they went through to become a pal, but they are true leaders and they absolutely know answers to questions that are real current, you know, because they live this life every single day, and we're very proud of them. And with the two interns that you've met, well, you met little Lexi, Stephanie is the other intern here who we have only for the summer, unfortunately, because this is their area of expertise that they're training in. But you're really in good hands when it comes to having any sort of question or concern. The experts are right here at your disposal to help you out as quickly as possible. So with that, I think I'm going to open it up a little bit to see if there's any questions from the folks in the audience, to see if Lexi or Stephanie or any of the pals have any comments that they want to share.
I have a question that maybe we can pass over to our peer assistant leaders, but I was wondering, what ways do you stay connected with your family members or loved ones while you're at school? Yui or Mara Lady, feel free to jump in at any point.
I will go first. To stay connected with my family, I basically talk to my mom every day on the phone, twice a day. Like, I didn't used to talk to my mom that much. Now she texts me every morning. By the time I wake up, she already texts me. And in the evening when she get home from work, she always call me. With my sister's always busy, so it tends to, like, we call every other day. Sometimes I go a week without talking to my sister, but she called me and just a fight. I'm like, I'm busy. You need to call me. I'm like, yeah, that's what I don't call you. But like, we spent a week without talking, and then it was for like 3 hours on the phone. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the same thing. Basically, I kind of FaceTime my parents. Like, if it's like during the semester, I'll like call them less frequently, maybe like once per week. But right now, I would call them like twice, like bi-weekly. So, and I'll try to go home every like other weekend. Yeah. Definitely utilize the transportation, the Long Island Railroad. So that's that too.
Yeah, I try to go home every other weekend too. And I don't know if it's because I'm Hispanic, but my mom, she will make like she's a drama queen. Like, if I don't call her for 2 days, she was like, no, because you don't care about me. I don't know anything about you. Like, I have to call her. Like, I know I have to call her, let her know that I'm okay. Because if I don't do that, like, she's gonna spend a whole hour like talking to me why I should call her. Like, even for my birthday, sometimes I go away with my friends. And if I spend 2 days without calling her, she's like, no, you don't care about me. You don't care. So it's like, I have to call my mom every day.
It kind of reminds me of how hard it is for families to transition, because they're sitting home waiting to hear from you guys in your exciting life and what's new and what's changed and how's class and how your friends and blah, blah. And you're like, I'm kind of busy over here, but I'll keep you informed. It ends up being two different lifestyles, but it's great that you both keep in such good contact with your family. I'm sure they appreciate it, even though the guilt gets thrown every once in a while. I'm sure they appreciate it.
I think another question for our panelists, kind of jumping off of that, would be, what is some general advice you have for parents, family members, and supporters, either from a student perspective or a professional staff member perspective?
I think just from like a student slash a child's perspective, make sure to call your parents slash provider. Just make sure to stay connected, because like, even though you might like be like feeling like you're the adult and you can manage the whole thing, but your parents are worried about you, even though they might not say it. And just call them every week makes them like so much better than like worry about your safety at school, whether like, are you eating every meal every day? Yeah, just make sure to call. It won't take long, but it does so much stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, just let them know what is happening. Like, you can send me a message or something. Like, my mom sometimes are busy and she's calling me, can I pick up the phone? Like, I just let her know I'm doing something. It's just fine. She go to sleep. But like, if I don't touch her, she's like, I know she's gonna be up until 1 a.m. waiting for me to call her, let her know that I'm okay.
And one of the things I've learned over the years is the family members get intimidated sometimes because they have no idea what organic chemistry is, maybe, or certain classes that students are taking. So I always tell them, like, go with your strength. Ask them what their friends' names are. Like, go with the way that you had at home, you know, their friend's name, you know, their friend's family, you know, what they like to do together. Do that. Like, stay in what's comfortable with you. You do not have to be a Stony Brook student if you're a family member. You have one of them. But when connecting to your students, don't feel like I don't know what to talk about because you're involved in so many interesting academic things. You can ask them what their friends' names are, and you can do that kind of thing. What are you doing for fun? What happens after class? Like, go with what you're comfortable with, just like the girls are saying, to keep that conversation going so that you don't have to worry and that you don't feel like you're losing touch with the kind of life that they have on campus.
Awesome. Thank you so much for those answers. We do have a question in the Q&A, so I wanted to kind of share it so we can hear potentially from Ellen, because you might know about this. And the person said, thank you for the useful briefing session. Do you have online family networking events for international students?
Ooh, I think that's an ask, to get a family online international event for international students. We do not have one now, but we absolutely have the capacity to do that. And now that you brought it up that you'd like one, I think we're going to have to do that. Can I ask a question back? Is it a general, like, what are you thinking of? Is it like a general sort of what we did here, or do you like topics? Because we could do a series. There could be a series of topics where you could tune in to hear more from students and from professional staff about a certain theme or topic area. So write back, let us know. Send an email to the family services at stonybrook.edu with what you want to do, because that's exactly the kind of thing the family services are here for. What can we do to service your needs? So I appreciate that question, and I'm kind of excited about it because I think we can really play that out pretty well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Another question that I'd love to pose is any resources to point family members in the right generation, if there's in the right direction, if their student is first generation.
Good one. Do you, the pals, want to jump in first? You want me to get this? The cool thing, we love first generation students because it kind of challenges us to make sure we've covered everything. Because what we know is to not assume that anybody knows anything. So we have a baseline in our area in student affairs. We have a baseline, assume everyone is first generation, so we won't leave anybody out. So if any of those areas, what we find out that students who are first generation, they think that everyone else knows the answer to the question they have. So that's why they're shy to ask it. But you can absolutely, we have a department, I'm part of that as well. It's called Student Support Services. Student support team has about 5 people on it that are doing the student support services. We will answer all those questions for all those people. We're well integrated in the new student and transition program. So we will be there at new visit days. We'd like to meet you, but we have a website also, the student support team. Absolutely. Any office on campus will answer questions to students who are first generation, but please know that we're assuming that it's our responsibility to make sure we're really clear about what students need to know so that they don't feel left out.
Sure. We also just got a question in our chat that said, can someone tell me what's a usual day for a freshman or first year student? How many hours do you usually spend in school and how many classes do you usually take?
Good question.
I'm not really sure if like my experience is still like relevant because it was during COVID time and my classes and like majority of them are online class. And now that kind of transitioning into like in-person class, I know that might change. So I'll try to combine my like freshman experience with my sophomore experience because it's like better. Yeah, so I think I took like around 15, 17 credits. So it would be like 4/5 classes. Yeah. And I try to balance between like my major courses, my SBC courses, and just some courses that I'm interested in taking. So this is pretty balanced. So during freshman year, it was all online. So I have some asynchronous class where I can just watch during weekends. And then I have some like synchronous class where I have to like basically log in at a certain time. Yeah, on the course load for like, at least for freshman year, isn't like that heavy. It's more like still like transitioning you from high school kind of. Yeah, but it does get like a little bit heavy, I guess, for me once it's like in person, because when you have that synchronous class, you can like maybe when you have like a question in class, you can like go back and watch it again, but then you don't really have that when you have in-person class. So that's definitely like one of the benefits for online class. But I'll say like in-person class is like also good because you're able to kind of just sit with actual real people and then like be more focused rather than like stare at like a computer screen for like an hour and like 20 minutes. Yeah, so I definitely say like both ways are like different. And then what else should I say? How many classes do you usually yeah, so I'll definitely recommend like don't just jump straight into like your major courses, just like try to like finish them. Definitely recommend taking some SBC courses to kind of like explore. Like that's actually one of my like regret, not taking enough like courses that I'm interested. I kind of focused too much on like major courses and my minors. Yeah, so I definitely recommend kind of just look around and take a species that you're interested. Like
Yui,
first
what is SBC?
Oh, so SBC is the Stony Brook curriculum. So it has like different categories. So for example, it has like natural science, like foreign language. So it's like a curriculum you have to take in order to graduate.
I would say
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would say keep a balance at you said my first year in college. They will tell me go to tutoring. I was like, why do I need to go to tutoring? I never went to tutoring and I didn't do well in that class. So keep in mind, keep a balance because you're taking 4 classes, but you need to go to tutoring. You need to read the book. You need to create a habit. Since your first year, you're a freshman, you need to create a habit. And this is really important because if you don't do it the first year, first, second semester, you're gonna be carrying that the whole 4 years. And when you get to those major courses that are gonna be kind of hard, it's gonna be harder for you to create a studying habit.
And I'm going to jump in. I saw a question in the question and answers, and this is, I'm going to give the short answer, but you can absolutely, with the folks on the line, you can get full detail of this. But I get that part about how overwhelming it is, because there's a lot of different words, solar, net ID, different platforms, whatever. But you'll find out, like, solar is where everything lands. Net ID is how you get there. You know, your first, with us, it's the first letter in our last name. That's our net ID. Need a password. The whole Blackboard thing is for each classroom. That's where the professors post assignments. That's where students can post them back. It will make sense once you, I'm trying to encourage that. I don't think you're behind. I think it's just different words used here at Stony Brook than you're used to hearing. But the PALs and the folks in new student programs, as you start signing up for classes and registering, getting on, you will definitely, it'll all make sense at one point. But yes, we're so excited. We give you all that information at once, and it does feel like a different language in the beginning. I've experienced that myself when I first started working here. So be patient. It'll all make sense at some point.
And just to add on that, there are so many resources to support students and their families and supporters throughout their time, one of them being the PALs, or the peer assistant leaders. And students, incoming students, actually get assigned a peer assistant leader that they connect with, and part of orientation is Seawolf Connections, where they actually meet up and have a 2-hour Zoom meeting where they're able to present on different materials to introduce them to Stony Brook, but then also get to know them, and they're able to stay connected through their entire first year. And so the peer assistant leaders are really trained on Stony Brook University and how they can get your students connected. And so even if you're like, I know people keep saying these words, I don't know what they mean, you can also email your peer assistant leader, or even email the orientation office if you aren't sure who your PAL is at this point. And there's so many different resources that we, want to help you out, even like student support services and family services. If you get confused, you can always call that office, and we are here to support you through it all, because we know it can be really overwhelming at the beginning.
I don't know if we have any more questions from our participants in the group, but if you want to drop a few more, we're more than happy to answer them. Not really seeing anything else come through. So I just want to thank you all for being here with us tonight, and give a special thank you to Ellen for being here and presenting on this material. As always, you can feel free to reach out to our office, Ellen's office as well, and we'd be more than happy to answer any further questions that you have. As we said before in the beginning, this session is being recorded, and so you'll be able to find it through the portal that you were able to log into and find the Zoom link for this session with. You can also go onto our YouTube page, which is New Student Programs SBU, and you can find more recordings just like this one. So thank you so much for being here, and we hope that you have a great night.
Congratulations. Welcome, everybody.